Dutch and his tip-top commando group show up in an anonymous Central American country. They meet a General, Phillips, whom Dutch has worked for previously, and with a CIA specialist, Dylan, whom Dutch likewise knows. Dylan tells Dutch that a high-positioning bureau serve going by helicopter close by has disappeared in the wilderness, probably shot somewhere near a renegade guerrilla bunch working nearby. Dutch's group has been accused of going over the line and into rebel area to save the man. Dutch's group are dropped around evening time into the wilderness by helicopter and they climb toward the agitator camp. In transit, they track down the brought-down helicopter. Dutch's tracker, Billy, can confirm that the renegades for sure took the bureau serve, yet one more gathering of men additionally went through, logical more American warriors. Afterward, Billy detects something close by and finds the collections of 3 men who have been excoriated and hung topsy-turvy. In a heap of guts, one more of Dutch's men, Mac, finds a bunch of canine labels. Dutch perceives the name on them, Jim Hopper, a Green Beret. Dutch is baffled and seeks Dylan for data. Dylan says he doesn't know anything about another group. The group shows up at the revolutionary camp undetected. Dutch and his group obliterate the camp in a full-scale attack and kill every one of the renegades. There are no prisoners alive. Dutch sees a revolutionary execute one. In any case, Dutch tracks down a solitary, frightened young lady, Anna. They take her along as a prisoner. Dutch acknowledges they have been set up and defies Dylan. Dylan affirms that Dutch and his group were just pawns to annihilate the camp and its men. He likewise affirms that he lied about Hopper's group. When they disappeared, Dylan brought in Dutch. With no decision, the group heads to the chopper rendezvous point. In any case, obscure to the group, they are being followed by a concealed adversary that sees their body heat marks. The group moves into a thickly forested valley where they intend to meet their extraction helicopter. Anna hits Dylan with a tree appendage and attempts to get away from the gathering, and Hawkins follows. At the point when he gets her, a contorted, human-like sort surges out of the wilderness and kills Hawkins. The lady is abandoned, alarmed, healthy and canvassed in Hawkins' blood. Dutch's Hispanic team part, Pancho, asks Anna what occurred. All she can manage to say is the wilderness woke up and took him. Dutch orders the others to find Hawkins' body, which is swinging from a tree close by. McIntosh sees a humanoid-like mutilation that blazes green eyes. McIntosh starts shooting with Blaine's minigun, discharging great many rounds into the wilderness. The remainder of the group races to the spot and furthermore open fire. In the wake of checking the region before them, Pancho tells Dutch that they hit nothing living. A nearby review of Blaine's injuries gives no indications of shrapnel or black powder consumes. At the point when asked what he saw, an unnerved Mac can't distinguish the foe. Just Anna tracks down any proof, a green shining liquid on a huge leaf, which she doesn't fill anybody in about. In one more piece of the wilderness, the contorted humanoid plunks down on a tree limb. The contortion ends up being an innovative covering gadget that can twist light, making the deception of imperceptibility. The foe has been injured in the thigh, dribbling a similar kind of liquid Anna had found. It is the animal's blood. Dutch confirms that their concealed adversary isn't just killing them individually yet in addition purposefully hunting them. The group builds a snare from wilderness plants which structure a net and an intricate arrangement of tripwires. While they trust that their stalker will lay out off the snare, Anna discusses an unbelievable evil presence that had followed her town in the midst of very sweltering climate. She says that men were found cleaned and lacking body pieces. Dutch and Dylan imagine that the snare won't work without live lure, so Dutch cautiously ventures into the clearing among the tripwires. As he pivots, the snare goes off, and something is tangled in the net. Laser shoots shoot from the net, raising a ruckus around town's securing tree trunk, which confines and swings into Pancho, hitting him square in the chest and seriously harming him. Dylan sees the twisting of the stalker's cover as it escapes into the wilderness. McIntosh immediately takes off after the animal over Dutch's requests for him to return, looking for vengeance for Blaine. Dutch, Pancho, Billy, and Anna all pass on to meet the chopper, while Dylan pursues Mac. Dylan finds Mac not far off. McIntosh has found their foe set up camp in a tree stand. The two settle on an arrangement to move toward it quietly and kill it. While creeping through the underbrush, Mac sees a 3-pointed laser design on his arm and is killed when he opens his head to his foe. Dylan finds him dead a couple of moments later. Dylan is gone after by the stalker, who fires a laser impact that cuts off one of his arms. Dylan attempts to shield himself, however is pierced on an enormous twofold bladed weapon. As yet pushing toward the extraction site, the remainder of the group cross a huge tree trunk span. Billy, detecting the presence of the adversary, discards his rifle and faces it single-handedly, equipped just with his blade. He is immediately killed. His shout is heard by the remainder of the party. Dutch, Anna and Pancho stop, and Pancho is killed by a laser impact. Anna gets a firearm to fire, however Dutch kicks it away. Another laser impact hits Dutch's rifle, blowing it 50. Dutch shouts for Anna to race to the helicopter, and he creeps away. Dutch winds up sliding down a slope that drops him off a precipice into a stream. Dutch swims to the opposite side and is laying on the sloppy bank when his follower sprinkles down behind him. Dutch, weaponless and canvassed in mud, powerlessly trusts that his foe will kill him. The foe surfaces and ends up being a huge, humanoid outsider having progressed weaponry. The versatile disguise gadget that hid it from Dutch and his group seems, by all accounts, to be breaking down because of openness to water, and the animal switches it off. It detects an objective in the brush and tracks it with a 3-radiated laser extension and takes shots at it, a little rat with a shoulder-mounted cannon. The outsider doesn't, nonetheless, see Dutch, whose body heat is protected by the mud on his skin. The animal stalks off. Dutch mounts a hostile, picking an essential spot and sets a garroting trap with spikes. Dutch likewise constructs a bow and a few bolts with explosive from his extra projectiles and designs lances. He additionally covers himself in mud to additional his benefit. In the interim, the animal tears the spinal segment and skull from Billy's carcass, cleaning it to make a prize. At the point when he's prepared, Dutch lights a rough light and sounds out a crude shout, bringing the outsider and dropping the light onto a huge fire he'd constructed. The outsider shows up and creeps over the concealed Dutch. Dutch flames one of his hazardous bolts at the animal, for all time debilitating its intangibility gadget. In any case, Dutch quickly runs out of weapons. The outsider catches him in a lake. After a concise assessment of his human rival, the animal eliminates its protective cap, uncovering its face, profound set eyes, a bare head, profoundly set eyes, dreadlocks, and a tooth-filled mouth with huge mandibles. It draws in Dutch hand to hand, a fight where the outsider enjoys the benefit of solidarity over Dutch. Dutch brings the animal into the spiked snare he'd set, shouting for it to draw nearer to kill him. The animal finds the snare and strolls around behind Dutch. As it moves in, Dutch notification it's standing straightforwardly under the snare's stabilizer. Dutch kicks away the trigger and the stabilizer dives, pulverizing the outsider. Dutch moves in to polish it off with an enormous stone, yet discards it when he sees that the outsider is injured lethally. Dutch inquires, "What in blazes are you?" and the animal rehashes the expression. It opens a board on its glove and initiates a clock, flagging Dutch to run. As he does, the animal giggles, mimicking Billy. A little atomic blast goes off as Dutch jumps to cover. In a helicopter flying close by, General Phillips and Anna see the blast. They see Dutch in a burned fix of rainforest. Dutch is safeguarded, seeming worse for wear.